The much awaited Disney earnings call happened. Um, for the most part, for the company, it was positive, but they are getting rid of 7,000 employees, mostly, from what I gather, from the production slash studio slash media segment. And yeah, go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah, it's sad to see. Definitely my heart goes out to those who are losing their jobs right now due to the decisions that, the tough decisions that are being made at this moment. Not much detail was given from Iger based on that side of things, aside from that it was an unfortunate thing that they had to do. It seems like there's a significant amount of cost cutting going on at Disney at the moment. Specifically, like for example, with the park side, like was it like 700 million or whatever is like less being spent or some crazy number around that. For the yearly budget. But then you look at Obed, like for example, like Disney Plus, it lost over 2 million subscribers, I want to say.
Yep.
Um, when we see numbers like that, then you can see where that would affect production because that would be a huge issue. Now I do wonder because yes, a lot of the stuff under production was in place from Iger when he was there the first time. um, and so when Chapek came in, I don't know how much of an influence he had on the shows that were and movies that were coming out on Disney Plus. I don't know if he just kind of let people do their thing, or if he was the kind of like authoritarian overlord who was like, "I need to make decisions on X, Y, and Z." I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
don't really
my
know.
well, my understanding is that he created that DMED, right? It was like the Disney Media, whatever. Like
Right,
that, he
right,
created a separate segment
right.
and put a person in charge of that segment, and everything needed to be get approved, right?
Mm,
So he took the approval process from the creatives and made it into more a more structured process, and um, you know that's what created a lot of the problems that WB has been going through.
right.
And that was the first thing that Iger did was to solve that division. And
Yeah.
the person that was in charge that was put there by Chapek was let go. And then now it looks like they're consolidating, and in the midst of that consolidation, they're getting rid of 7,000 people.
Right. That
So
that's how I interpret it. Is like
yeah,
that production, the Disney Plus thing, to then lead to that. Like it had to have been connected.
yeah.
Now, of course, people's instant reaction is like, "Yeah, that's She-Hulk's fault" and stuff like that.
Oh
It's not
yeah.
only, but it definitely,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, was a factor in why people cut their subscriptions.
Oh,
I
totally,
think it's
totally, totally.
also, let's be real. Like, I'm not gonna get political by any means, but let's be completely honest. Disney has been in the news over the last year right before Iger came in, when Chapek was in for coming across as preaching on specific things that it did not resonate with probably half the country as well. And there was a big movement of people saying, cut your Disney. That could easily have been a factor behind it. Bad press doesn't help. I'm not going to get again into
Yeah,
the semantics of that, but I think that's where Iger's trying to unify again the people and saying like, look, Disney's a safe place for everybody. We're not here trying to join or die or some kind of
it's not a cult.
movement. Right, it's not a cult. It's a place that's to be safe and fun. And let's just have a good time. That's kind of the sense that you got with what they had done before. Where you have your different shows and things for everyone, the young, the old, the men, the women. Like you got your stuff. So hopefully that and again, I don't want to speak about people losing jobs. That I feel really bad about for sure. But my hope is that if they are making moves on the production side, that the publicity around it starts to be more positive, and it's not something that's really turning people away. Because I like Disney Plus still. I still think it's great value for what the price is. I think there's a lot more to go, a lot more they need to do for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot more content needs to be created. But right now, it almost seems to me like they're the cuts on the job part will affect, like you're saying, that side of the business. But really, it seems to me like right now the money is more going into how can we create a better experience at the parks, and that's what interests me. What are your? Did you see? You saw that? I'm assuming about the conversation around more IPs and etc.
Yeah, and Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3, and
Yeah,
bringing Avatar to Disneyland, and creating more synergy, and that's all fine, right? It just that they gotta step it up. At the end of the day, man, they gotta step it up. They've been dilly dallying for too long, and um, in between all that dilly dallying, a sleeping giant was awoken in
yeah,
Universal, and they really need to get their stuff together when it comes to parks, man. I mean, parks is their bread and butter. It's the only division that gives them, money hand over fist, basically. So the only division that doesn't really lose money is parks,
right.
and their strategy is because parks is getting us money. We're not going to invest in parks. Take that money and put it somewhere else where it needs investing. And Universal's doing the opposite. Comcast is doing
Right.
the opposite. They are just investing on what people are paying for, which is their parks.
Yeah.
And I've been how long have I been saying that Disney has a problem where a lot of the people that work there just don't care. And I think
Yeah.
it's you know why are you looking for this talent that's not gonna you know give you the grade, and investing in this, and it's like, oh man, it's like, what was it again? May the force be with you on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
joke. That's
Yeah.
I joke about it, but it freaking sucks, right?
Yeah.
it you know it And they gotta start doing a better job at not only keeping the talent that care about Disney, but finding new talent that cares about Disney and care about the legacy and care about the property. And it's about time. They need to wake up. They need to wake up. I think that there are a lot of people out there that have presented, and then there's many YouTube channels, right, about that cover Disney. Some better than others, for sure, right? Um, but you can tell that there's some passionate people out there, and I think it's about time for them to, um, you know, figure this out. Because
Yeah.
it's like you got about a year. You got about a year and a half. You got
Yeah.
about a year and a half. These guys are
I-
gonna open, bro. And that day, I'm probably gonna go to Magic Kingdom because there's not gonna be anyone in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best day to go to Magic Kingdom because there's not gonna be anyone in there. So
Now,
yeah,
did you see with Magic Kingdom the rumors around Encanto, Coco, and a villains themed area behind where Splash Mountain, obviously now Tiana and and Thunder Mountain is the expansion behind there.
bro, I want to drop one on you.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop one on you. It's gonna be a big one, and some people are
Mm.
gonna get mad. From take that freaking Tom Sawyer Island that no one cares about and turn it into Encanto.
Yeah.
Build a
Yeah.
casita in the middle of the
Right.
island. Who cares about Tom Sawyer, bro?
No, it's an
They don't
ancient.
even
Yeah.
they don't even read it in schools anymore.
No, I know. Well, we know why,
I know.
but
Yeah, exactly. Right. Mark Twain's a big deal, but
like of all the there's a lot of things I do agree with keeping like original from Walt Disney days. That's like something about it, just keeping it fresh. I respect like it's a small world, and like I respect that. Like I get there's something very special and very like original about it, and I
yeah.
like that, right? But Tom Sawyer Island ain't the one. Uh,
That needs to be
like
Encanto. That needs to be Encanto right there, man. And you know
the
what?
thing is, that's a lot of land for just the house.
No, they're gonna have a right. They have the house with the right. They can build a house back there, like an actual like
That's
right
a lot of
feature.
land for like you got to. I think if
No,
anything, you
bro.
should do at least two things on that
Yep. I
land,
mean, you can get away with doing Encanto at least, right?
right?
And do a full retheme. No, no, man. I mean, if you look at it, it's not really that big. I mean, it gives you the illusion that it's big, but it's not really.
Yeah, looks like an
Yeah,
island.
yeah, um, yeah. I think that's the bet. You know what? Again, talk about again. We'll give you the Sonic idea for free for Rock and Roller Coaster. This is your chance, and you
Oh
won't take
yeah,
it. But now take that Tom Sawyer Island. No one cares about Tom Sawyer Island, and
yeah,
put the Encanto Island there. So I don't know, bro. It's
yeah, yeah.
it's honestly missed opportunities. It's like what do we do? Right? It's like these people have been working at Disney for 20 years doing rides and building, working on the parks, and they can't come out with
Well,
ideas. It's like
well,
what
maybe
the
they
heck?
do have. That's the thing. I don't know that. Like maybe they do have these ideas. Maybe they're getting shot down by people, in
No,
places and
I
things. I
mean
mean, you
that's
and
the
I know
problem,
that
right?
that that
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of stuff in business semantics and
oh,
politics, and
totally, totally.
so I'm not saying that they don't have ideas. May just
Yeah,
be unfortunately the people who let them even make it to the desk of Iger don't let it ever get to his desk. I don't know. I mean, this is
yeah.
just my
It's
thoughts. There's
just
so many
yeah.
possibilities, but there's a lot of
Oh,
nonetheless,
that's the problem.
missed
Yeah,
opportunities definitely
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Which is Universal was waiting for this. They
Yeah.
have been waiting for one Achilles
They
heel.
they they were waiting for them to slip on the hypothetical Mario Kart banana on
Yep.
yeah, and then we'll spin around, and then
This has been
that's the yeah,
years in the making. Seriously.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
been
man,
behind Disney, let Disney have their fun, do stuff, and what they do. Let's make a really solid, original,
yeah.
Despicable Me, Minions, and like let's take an IP that's really awesome,
Get our
Mario, and
IPs, yeah,
let's build a big land around it. And years and years, and buy out Wet n Wild and grow like they
yeah,
have been going years in the making.
yeah, man.
And here comes a couple years we're behind, like you're saying, a year and a half.
Year and a half, bro.
Um, and this year alone is just from a cinematic standpoint. Here comes this amazing. Now, what's the chances that the second Mario Bros. World movie, whatever, comes out the same time that they open up in 2025?
I
Like,
doubt
who's to
it.
say they aren't
I
going to work on a sequel and that comes out in 2 years?
I
It's
doubt it.
possible.
It's
It's
possible.
animated.
It's possible, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
I'm not
I
saying
doubt.
the
I
exact same
think
time. It may
no.
be end of
Here's
2025.
here's why I doubt it. Right, because Chiggy. Like
Mm,
if Chiggy doesn't like the movie, is he's not gonna let it happen. So if Shigeru Miyamoto watches the movie and he says that he didn't like it, how that's why we haven't had a Mario movie in all this time because he hated the Mario movie from the 90s, the Bob
yeah.
Hoskins Mario with John
Well,
Leguizamo's Luigi. But you know,
we who did like sorry. But
I think you know what I think that if you it's a matter of perspective for that movie because if you subvert your expectations I think
a
it's
lot.
actually I think it's actually quite a bold take
Sure.
on Mario, and it that's another discussion. We don't have enough time for that,
For sure.
but yeah, man, like they
But
gotta step it up.
if this movie makes, I mean, $500 million, they gotta make another one.
Oh, but Mario's gonna make
Mario.
two, bro. I told you, Mario's
That's
gonna make two.
I hear you. Look, I hear you. I'm not coming against that. I'm not coming against that. Like you, and then what if it gets nominated for Best Animated Picture? Like it could happen. This
Good,
could be like Into the Spider-Verse kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
where you take out Disney again with where they usually win
In merchandising,
in
you
merchandising.
got merchandising coming in. So, oh man, and games like Nintendo is like we'll talk Nintendo because there's two topics today, Disney and Nintendo. We'll talk about them.
Yep, yep.
Um, it's I don't know, man. It's I know, and I get it. Iger is trying to correct some of the wrongs and that happened at the tail end of his stay and when Chapek took uh, the reins. But at the same time, right? It's like you just can't you just can't live you just can't work like this, right? You just
No,
can't work
no.
like this. And um I think that park goers deserve better. The nickel diming is ridiculous. I think the Genie Plus is an awful product, and this case the problem is that it's making the money, right? It's like excuse part of my language, right? It's like farts in a can, right? It's like people are still gonna
Yeah.
buy it, and you know,
Or the buying dirty water. Literally.
yeah,
But
right.
but it is interesting the statement that you saw of him saying he's like, with all the money that we've made from the parks, one would assume that we would increase capacity and that we would raise the ticket sales. And he's like, he literally said, like, I don't think either one is the right choice. Like, we need to find a way to expand the parks to have so then we can fill the capacity better, that there's more things to do. And I like that approach about what he said there. Now, I know you probably didn't like when he said that, he's called on Josh Romero to just do find ways to integrate more intellectual properties, existing properties into the parks, because I know you want it to be like the old days where they created rides that were
See,
originals
but
that had nothing to do with their movies.
and that's that to me is whatever, right?
Okay.
At this point, they need whatever they can get.
Yeah.
Like beggars can be choosers, right? It's like
Yeah.
at this point, right? We we can't be investing on non IPs because and I'm a purist and I like you there's
Yeah.
several Epcot rants that I've had in this podcast, right?
Good ones. Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, times have changed and people go for the IP, right? The IP is attractive to fans, young fans, not so much older fans, but younger fans. They love IP synergy with the parks. So, at the end of the day, as long as they make it happen, I don't have a problem with it, right? That's the problem is that they're not making it happen. Missed
Right. Like Wreck It
opportunities,
Ralph
right?
should have been
Oh,
at
bro,
Magic Kingdom a long time ago.
dude, at Epcot, there's like they closed up
Yeah.
the play pavilion. Is not happening. It's like missed opportunities, right?
I
Why
know the
don't you
games.
partner,
Yeah.
dude? It's like PlayStation has tons of money right now. They made a ton of money over Christmas. We saw that. Nintendo, they're already married, right? They can't
Hmm.
touch that. But again, I'm pretty sure is willing to create some synergy with their properties. I'm sure
Wait, you
PlayStation
don't
would
want them to
like.
make a deal with Microsoft? The
What does
Xbox
Microsoft
experience?
have, dude? What
Sorry.
does Microsoft, dude? What does Microsoft have? You tell me
The Xbox experience
what's
brought
gonna
to you
have,
by Microsoft.
but both brought to you by third parties. Dude,
Savage.
you got Capcom out there. You got Sega. You got good
Yeah.
property. You got good companies that could create the good synergy with the Disney that they can coexist. Sega already did it, right? That's the thing. That's you need to think outside the box. And I'm not because my rant about the rights having to be original and all that. That's totally fine, right? But at the same time, you have a world
Mm,
of IPs from other companies that you could have a partnership with, like Universal
right.
did with Nintendo, and
Right.
you're not. I don't know. We're just gonna make Frozen 3, right? Come on, man.
I
Honestly,
mean, to be fair, it made a ton of money.
yeah, but still, right? They already have their 2 second ride at Epcot. It's like
Yeah.
well, it's like 38 seconds long, and you have to wait an hour and a half to ride it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's I,
Z-
I'm
Zootopia coming in
cautiously
to Animal
optimistic.
Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. That park needs some love, like big
Yeah.
time. Honestly,
That's been my rant.
that's been your rant. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd say studios fix the problem that Tower Terror's having with the lines because that's unacceptable. Um,
Studios is fine though.
but studios is fine. I say yeah, add a couple of things here and there. That cars thing
Sure.
it's trash. You can probably build something better back there, right? Um, and then retheme Roller Coaster to Sonic the Hedgehog. What the heck are you waiting for, bro? And I don't know, but uh, I feel bad for the 7,000 cast members that are being needlessly let go, in my opinion. And that said, not all of them are in the U.S. There's a lot of international cast members that are getting caught too. This is not only here,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's what we're told. Bro, the worst thing that they could have done is that freaking Shanghai park. It's beautiful, but no one goes to that park, and China's still in
Yeah.
lockdown. That was the
It's
worst.
tough. It's tough.
That was the worst. It's I don't know. That should have
That's
been
tough.
that park should have been built in Texas, not Shanghai.
I mean, it seems though like the stuff that they have in that park is so cool.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah,
really cool stuff.
yep. That park should have been in Texas.
Would love to go there someday.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you didn't need another park in Shanghai. That park needed to be in the U.S. Yeah, that park needed to be in Texas, right in the middle, right in the middle of both, right? Yeah, honestly, I mean, if you're concerned about weather, probably like South Texas is it's probably gonna like San Antonio was probably is a good spot for a Disney park. So, uh, well, I mean that's said and done. I mean we don't know where this is going. They can still pull it off, but um, yeah. So there's a story about Kevin Feige almost getting fired back in 2015. What's up with that, dude?
Yeah, so back in 2015, Ike Perlmutter was pushing to get Kevin Feige fired because of them on a personal note clashing. And a lot of it had to do with the news that I'm pretty sure I've mentioned a few times on the podcast, mentioned to you about how um, Feige, for example, like he wanted a Black Widow movie from a long time ago, and he wanted, Captain Marvel, and he wanted Black Panther, and Ike Perlmutter was a man out of time, and he didn't think that those kinds of characters would sell well. It was old Hollywood, right? And really, Feige, like I've mentioned before, he had to get a restructure. He had to have a restructure at Disney happen to go over Perlmutter to go straight up to Iger, right? But yeah, Perlmutter did not like Feige at all for the kind of projects that he was working on, and he thought he was going to ruin the MCU. And of course, he was very wrong. So, he it ended up being Ike that ended up getting the shift out, which is pretty poetic in its own way. But my goodness, that's crazy to think that Bob Iger saved Feige from losing his job
Yeah.
in 2015 when, I mean, what, Age of Ultron was coming out at that time?
Um.
2014, 15?
Yeah. Yeah. 15 was Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Age of Ultron, right?
Well, was it 14?
So,
One or the other. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you up to that movie, I mean, like the worst movies you had was like Thor: The Dark World,
Iron Man
it was a
2.
Iron Man 2, yeah.
But
Like these
even
movies,
again, Iron Man 2 is like criminally underrated. I think it's actually quite
yeah,
enjoyable. So
yeah, same.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this all ties back to the now defunct I guess proxy war that was going on with Nelson Peltz and him trying to insert himself into the Disney board. He had a call with I think MSNBC or CNBC and said that based on what he's heard, they're moving the company in the right track, and he's no longer going to attempt and join the board. But that said, who's to say that it could happen again? So
Exactly.
he said it himself. He's like, "Oh, we'll monitor it and we'll see how it goes." So yeah, um, it's money, man. It talks. So
For real.
we'll have to wait and see what happens with Disney. This could be a multi-year, kind of thing for them. But you know, if again, and I'm a nobody. I'm a dude on the internet. But again, my suggestion to Disney as a lifelong fan is that you need to fill the company with people that care at the end of the day, and people that know the product, people that love the product, not in passing.
Yeah.
And you gotta make the right choices when it comes to the people that are managing a lot of these things. Um, and we've seen it with Star Wars. We've seen it with a little bit with Pixar. Getting a little too off the rails. Um, and of course we see it at the parks. So that's my final thoughts on that.